Good day, listeners. Thank you for tuning in to today's news. Welcome to Verdict TV. The news headline: More trouble for Buhari as Ärrésted youths issues serious warning to Tinubu. See what they demand from him. Thank you once again, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel by clicking on the subscribe button and also the bell for more updates. Now to the news details. Please listen to the end. Alhaji Yerima Shettima, the national president of the Ärrésted Youth Consultative Forum, AYCF, has stated that despite President Bola Tinubu's commendable efforts in his first month in office, he is prepared to engage the administration if it goes in the incorrect direction. During an interview with Vanguard, Shettima insisted that ministers from the previous administration must account for their actions while in office and explain where their wealth came from. In contrast to the previous administration of Muhammadu Buhari, which, according to him, plundered the treasury and saddled the country with enormous debts, Tinubu has demonstrated his commitment to deliberate governance, he said. He stated, however, that he would consider Tinubu's administration seriously once he invites the former ministers to give an account of their tenure. He said, so far, so fine. In the last 20 days, we have witnessed hopeful actions and body language. In contrast to this last 8 years, during which we believed President Buhari would perform miracles, it took him some time to select his ministers. We believed he was still consulting, looking for a different group of people and the brightest minds. But after 6 months, the same characters resurfaced. His administration ended up crushing the treasury and putting Nigeria in a mountain of debt. Now, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's body language, we are able to observe alterations that we were unable to observe for the past 8 years. In the previous administration, Buhari made appointments and then went to slumber, despite the failure of the appointees. He feigned not to see them, and his government was rife with corruption. However, now that President Tinubu is in office, we can observe the body language of the CBN and EFCC. We wish for this to continue. No one should be allowed to go unpunished. Anyone found guilty should be brought to justice. We look forward to seeing him beyond his role as the director of the EFCC. The former ministers and their families must account for their actions while in office and disclose the source of their wealth. Then we will take this government's fight against corruption seriously. Regarding the economy, we have also observed the body language. The Wale Eduns and the Ribados, who are youthful, principled, and serious individuals. We could see where the president was headed. Remember that President Bola Tinubu actually removed all the ministers during the former president Buhari's administration. And also, in the few days Tinubu has spent in office, he's taking the right steps. But for him to complete all these steps, because he wants to fight corruption, he wants to curb corruption. That is why he suspended the CBN governor and the EFCC, and they were arrested by the DSS, in which they are still in the detention of the DSS. Then if he seriously wants to curb this corruption, then all these ministers that were removed should be called and asked how they got their wealth from. Because if you look at the administration of the former president Buhari, his administration was the worst administration, whereby corruption was being eaten like food. Like all the ministers, the governors, the CBN governors, EFCC were just corrupt beings. And they made the economy of Nigeria crumble. Even everything was not normal any longer. So if Tinubu wants Nigerians to see that his government really wants to fight against corruption, then it needs to invite the former ministers and their families, and they must give accounts for their actions while in office, and also disclose the source of their wealth, because most of them are now billionaires. They were not billionaires before they came into office, but after the 8 years, they are now soaked in money. Like this Buhari the Buhari administration made Nigeria to go into enormous debt, in which even Tinubu do not know how he's going to pay yet. So these things are alarming. We are happy that he arrested the CBN governor and the EFCC governor. So he needs to also invite all these ministers. He cannot just remove them and let them work freely, whereas they have made Nigerians suffer. They also must come and give accounts, and anyone found guilty should face the law. And this was what Shettima Yerima disclosed. And you wish I agreed to it, because these people actually made Nigerians suffer. They brought hardships on the poor masses. We have come to the end of the news, dear listeners. What's your take on this? Please share your view in the comment section, and thank you for tuning in to the end.